Alright guys, Chris Manifest Concepts here, and I'm here in Sycamore Creek fixing one of those leaks. So just want to get down to business real quick, show you what's going on. Typical leak meter box. You got the pressure regulator here and the water meter here. Get to that in a minute. Water comes from the main in the street, comes all the way over, comes into this box. Goes into what's called curb stop or angle stop, which is how they shut off water if they need to change any of this out. This is a waste of money. It's a pressure regulator, a low one at that, in my opinion, increases Lee Lake Water District's maintenance costs, not needed, especially since the plumbing code requires a pressure regulator on the house over there. The reason for that is because the pressure on the city side is extremely high, anywhere from 120 on up to 190. Anyways, water comes through this here, goes into the pressure regulator. There's a heavy spring in here and a damper, if you want to call it that, pushes up when the water comes in. The way it lowers pressure, so water comes up, has to push really hard to push this device up, and then the water comes here. So it'll take pressure in at 100 and whatever the psi is, and then lower it down to between 60 and 80 psi, and then run it back into the system so it doesn't blow anything up in your house. This is how you adjust that pressure. It comes through this pipe into the water meter, which you can see the direction of flow. You see the arrow right here. Goes through the water meter and out the back end. You have a valve back here. It's put in by the district, but it is your responsibility. From there, the water goes all the way over to here. Goes down through the line down in here, up through there. Again, that is a pressure regulator. You can see your cone on the side with the spring and the dampening devices to lessen the pressure. And then we come over here to our problem. The contractor decided to skimp out and use Schedule 40 PVC. It's not rated for high PSI, typically maybe 110 at the most, but not for an extremely long amount of time. At that pressure, the chemicals from the water, chlorine and what have you, come through the PVC and dry it out. It's an okay item to use when the pressure regulator on the city side works. Most all cities don't typically have pressure regulators that they maintain. They just require you have a pressure regulator on your house. Here's where the problem is again. Pressure regulator is probably broken over there on the city side. So we've got some pressure issues here where they're elevated. Comes in here. Now, the original owner of the house realized there's a problem with the sprinklers, too much pressure, probably blew a couple anti-siphon valves, so he put in his own backflow device, again, similar to the city's, and a shutoff valve. When they did this, they cut into the main line, put in a T and a 90, didn't do a very good job, didn't push it down all the way, and now there's a hairline fracture in here, which you can't see from the water pressure, and that's where it's leaking, and that's where a lot of your leaks in at least Sycamore Creek are coming from. Is the increased pressure is drying it out by pushing the chemicals in, and the pipe is expanding and cracking and then leaking. The only way you can really get rid of this is to put copper or PEX pipe for the main line in there, and then run it up to the house. And then we typically cut into here, drop a copper line down, and run new pipe over PVC underground where it's not getting hit by the sun. The reason we do that is because that pressure regulator will reduce the pressure in the PVC going to the sprinkler lines so they won't dry out and crack as quickly. And then you have copper here, which wouldn't typically be affected in most cases by the chemicals in the water. So to do that, a little pricey, so we're going to do a repair here for the customer. Should last them a while until they can decide whether they want to do copper or PEX or something more permanent. So what we're going to do is cut this out, because I'm not quite sure why. You can see over here, just elbows up and runs all the way over there. Not sure why that is. We're going to cut this whole thing out rebuild it, put it back over here where it belongs, cut into the main line down here with a T up, some elbows, and bring it over here against the wall, and kind of clean up what we like to call this spaghetti mess here. So when I take some more pictures, potentially one more video, you'll see how clean it looks and the difference that we can make by plumbing with care, we call it. This plumbing mess was provided to you by your licensed general building contractor who built this development. So just remember, research your developers, research your contractors. Licenses don't necessarily mean anything. They simply mean that somebody had enough money to get a license and or pay somebody off to say they have enough experience and whatever. Please, 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 please vet your contractors, licensed or unlicensed, and make sure that they have the experience to handle these issues. So again, pressure regulator's bad out there, probably a broken spring, which is usually what happens. Therefore, it's not dampening it. It's either causing vibration in the line or it's just letting all the pressure through. It's going through that PVC line right there, not the one to the right, that one right there, coming back, going into the house, and it's cracked at that really kind of random T-job right there. Comes all the way back here, then goes forward, then drops down, then goes over. It's just kind of a mess. So we'll make this look good for the client, get that leak fixed, and voila for a little bit. You guys have a good day.